Hey everybody, it's King Gaming, and today is a little bit more of a serious video. I'm doing this game in honor of my grandfather who passed away on December 1st in his sleep. Now, I know that sounds horrific, but he was suffering for a while, so this isn't the saddest of the deaths I've had to been through, as well as some of you may know. But it is still sad. I want to honor him. I wasn't able to go to his funeral, which I really do hate myself for it, but it was far away, and there was no way I could have made it. There was lots of problems going on at work, and basically a lot of other people already had called in sick and stuff, so they really desperately need someone, so there was no way I could go. But I still wanted to do something for him. I didn't want to just, do nothing. So that's what I'm going to do in this video, is just to talk a bit about my grandfather's eulogy style. So first, my grandfather comes from Scotland. That's his background and everything. Now, no one's ever told me the story. I've asked so many times. I'm a history fanatic, so honestly, I've asked this so many times, but no one's ever told me exactly how it went. But I guess he was born in Scotland, but he came to Canada as a kid for adoptions. Because this was probably around the time when Canada was getting Scottish and Irish kids, especially orphaned ones. Anyway, I'm trying to do this seriously, but anyway. So whenever he came here, it was nice enough that they let him keep his name, his first name. They only changed his last name, so his last name was Holiday. No, my mom doesn't know what his original last name was. She was never really, I'll admit, like, into knowing that sort of stuff. She was more in the now sort of type, so I guess she never really knew. Or he could have never told her, for all I know. But I don't know how his adoption went. I don't know how, like, stuff like that goes, because back in those days, like, adoption is one of those weirdest, the trickier things to describe, Either the parents are going to be good or the parents are going to be bad. I don't know what went down. You never really talked about them. I don't think I ever even met them, so who knows. But he did meet his, my mom did tell me that one day he did run into it, meet his mom again. I'm not sure if he met his dad, but he did meet his mom before she passed, which is really nice to do. So he met his mom and everything. Never met his dad. My mom thinks he was a McLeod, but who knows, right? Anyway, so I guess he after a while, when he was growing up, he joined the Navy. And you guys can make all the jokes you want. I know there's a lot of Navy jokes out there. So I don't blame you if you guys want to, but be cool, okay? So after a while, he met my grandma, which I have to say she must have saw something in him, I guess. It sounds weird to say, but he was a bit of a grumpy guy. But as you will hear more in history, this is why I don't blame him for being how he was when I was a kid. But I remember seeing a picture of him and her together smiling, so I'm sure he was a much happier guy in his youth. And here's one reason why. After a while, whenever their youngest daughter, and there was quite a few children they had, I think about, how many was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 or 7. But their 7th one had passed away by swallowing a marble. So I guess at some point after that, and this is when my mom was young, and she only remembers her dad as being kind of a hard guy. So you can imagine there's a good reason for it, right? Like, no one just goes from being a happy guy. Because if you guys met my grandma, you would know he must have been a happy guy at some point. But anyway, he still managed to get through it, I guess, it's in a way, because he still was happy. I remember hearing him laugh. He was a bit of a cynical guy, but, I get that from him a little bit sometimes, too. I can be kind of cynical. Man, I am not seeing any guys in this. Sorry, I'm not trying to break away. Actually, this is probably a good thing. But I don't want you guys to be bored with seeing nothing on screen. Let me see, quit this. Anyway. So after, I gained a lot from him, though. Like I said, I probably get a bit of my sense of humor from him. I also get it from my other side, but I'm focusing on this side right now. I also, from him, I'm the only one in the family, aside from him, who loves history. Like, to death. Like, I can research history for so long, and I would just absolutely love it. That's why I also chose this kind of game, because he loved especially war history. But he loved all kinds. Family history, where you came from, your background, everything, Um, yeah, so like, and then one time he got me this pocket watch. Actually, I remember this watch. This was a really, really cool watch. I loved it. I'm so sad that it broke when I was a kid. It was a nice little watch. I actually had a wolf on it, if I recall, and it was really, really awesome. It was kind of the wolf style was actually similar to the one he had a rifle that had like an old style rifle, like a nice hunting rifle that had a wolf on it too. So I guess he wasn't pretty into wolves because I remember I got a wolf toy from him as well. um. Anyway, there was one. This is actually let me and then well, okay, let me finish Pocket Watch then. What happened to the Pocket Watch was I left it and I felt so bad about doing this. I left it in the I guess I left it in my pocket at some point, and my mom put it in the wash, and when it got out, it was completely destroyed. Like there was no way to recover one of those watches. Like they were an awesome watch, but they could break really easily. So, but what I remember when I was a kid, I got him something. I traded for him one of my friends for this really nice real wood walking stick, kind of similar to like in the I guess you would say Lord of the Rings style. I guess that's the best way I can kind of put it. No, not Lord of the Rings style. That was a straight up sort of stick. Oh no, this one was kind of like what you would see mountaineers walking with. Like it looked like a tree branch, and it was really nice. And I traded my friend. I can't remember what I traded him for, but I got it off of him. And he had that for a long time. He actually he never even knew where it came from right away because I just kind of nonchalant put in his thing. Actually, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. This was after some other stories, but that's fine. Might as well set up with a nice thing. I'm also gonna tell you about like this is where I say he was a bit of a cynical douche. And I know you can't say that in a eulogy, but I'm sorry. He was. What he once did was that. But let me set it up for you. I was driving in the car with him, like him and my grandma. I can't remember where we're going. We were going somewhere quite far. My memory as a kid, I'm sorry guys, it's not the greatest. I remember we were walking somewhere, and then all of a sudden, my ass, and I know I'm saying ass, but my ass felt on fire. I was like, what the hell is he was getting grumpy with me, saying to settle down, like it's nothing. Why could you? So I put a blank, like, I'm just thinking like, I'm not making it up. My ass feels like it's on fire. I feel like I'm being roasted here. So then like, my grandma was like, oh, Bill, like, there might be something wrong with him. They're like, oh, he's just goofing around. And I'm just like, yes, this is where my mind first goes when goofing around. I'm going to pretend my ass is on fire. But anyway, so I put a blanket on and it still didn't help. So after a while, he finally actually stopped somewhere at a maintenance to see what it was. There was actually a little fire starting under the car seat where I was sitting. My ass was literally going on fire, essentially. It was roasting. Oh, man. That was awesome. Now I'm going to get a little bit ahead of myself again, but I want to because I want to do this. I don't want you guys to think of some sad parts. I want you to think of just, like, the better parts. So, one day I actually was able to go to Vimy Ridge. And I'm actually in a picture of it holding the flag for the ceremony, which was an amazing thing. I was one selected from my school. And I wanted to bring my grandfather because you know what? I wanted to. He didn't believe me. Like, this is what I said, but this is after something really bad happened. So you gotta understand. Like the walking stick part, and I think even the pocket watch and all Vinny Ridge, all of that was after this big thing had happened to him. So, like, what happened was the fact that for the Vimy Ridge, I wanted to bring him there because I wanted to cheer him up, like, make him happy, you know, because I noticed he hadn't been happy for a while. And the honest reason for that was the fact that a couple of years before, my grandmother had passed away. And this is why I say I very much respect him, because of the fact that most people when she died, he was about in his 60s, 50s or 60s. And, you know, he died in his 80s. So you guys gotta imagine, for over so many damn years, for let's say at least over 10 years, he went without my grandma. Like, he did not marry another woman. He didn't even want to. There was he didn't want to. He knew that there was no replacing her. He knew that he wanted to die staying loyal to her. He didn't want some other, like, woman or anything like that, you know? And I honestly do respect him, because there's not a lot of people that can do that. There's a lot of people who will forget about the one they married and just marry someone else just so they don't feel lonely. But he was willing to be lonely. And yes, like I said, like, this is the part when the Vimy Ridge, he moved in with us because he couldn't take care of himself anymore. He wasn't eating properly. He was drinking a lot. He just wouldn't take care of himself. Which is why I say, like, I understand it did a lot to him. Losing, like, first he lost his kid, and then several years later he lost his wife and had to live without her for a long time. How he died was actually of cancer, and he was suffering from it for some time. They didn't discover it until actually sometime this year. I think it was this year. Yeah, earlier this year. And then he only had a few months. So no one knows it for a while, which would probably explain a lot why he was acting so crazy, why he was acting all paranoid and everything. Like, he was actually lost his mind because of the passing of his wife. I feel like that's what it was, what caused it. That, and also not taking care of himself too. But I mean, anyone who loves their wife, and which is probably where I get from the loyalty to my wife, is just from him. Like, no one in my family has ever cheated and all that, but I mean, honestly, I've never, aside from him, I've never heard of anyone who said, screw it, I'm not going to marry someone else. Ever. Doesn't matter if I'm lonely ever, I'm not going to marry anyone else. And I really do respect him for that. Honestly, I know he wasn't a bad guy. I flipped through this book of the family in there, and I see a picture of him smiling. And I know he was not, like, a terrible guy. He was just a guy who got broken, and life just kicked him, you know? Like, I really don't blame him for anything, you know? Like, I have no harsh feelings or anything like that regarding him. In the end, my mom, I was trying to keep up to date with it because like I said, they were far away. And my mom told me that he was just, last couple of weeks, he was crying, just saying, please take me now. Which is why I say it's not a sad death. He's finally reunited with his daughter that he only got to be with for maybe, like, she died, I think, a year old. So he only got to be with her for a short time. He also gets to be back with his wife that he's been without for so long. So I don't believe he deserves to go to a bad place in his afterlife. I believe he deserves a happy life. He doesn't deserve to deal with crap and all that. So I honestly really do respect him, and that's why I did this whole video, because I wanted to do a eulogy that would hopefully last until, YouTube gets closed down, which I hope to never happens, because I want this to be up here forever. Anyway, so yeah, and I do respect my grandfather. I just hope he is happier where he is. Anyway, so I'm sorry to get you guys on a downer, but I wanted to let you know about those news. I've been wanting to do a video about it for a while, but I don't know, I wanted to get enough stuff to talk about. So I wanted to really think of the really funny and important times, big moments. Oh no, though, he was my grandfather, so I'm glad he's finally at rest and not suffering anymore. Anyway, so this has been, I guess this was where I'll just kind of end it. So this has been King Gaming, guys. And yeah, there's not much else I guess I can say. But like I said, I just really hope he's in a better place. Thank you for listening to me, guys. It really does mean a lot that for everyone to take their time to listen to stories about me and about him. Thank you. It means a lot. Bye, guys.